Thanks for joining us for this edition of Toro Talk. I'm Joel Norman, and we're joined by Mason City Toros forward Drake Adams. Drake, you joined this team in December, and it's got to be strange joining a team in the middle of a season. What's that been like, obviously, adjusting? Because that feels like a long time ago, given this point in the season.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the guys are very welcoming. Everybody on the team welcomed me with open arms. I think they really needed kind of a heavier presence on the ice, and I feel like I've done a good job of fulfilling that for the boys. But yeah, there's no complaints with any of the guys on the team. I think all of them are awesome.
And let's talk about that. You do bring a presence that's a little bit different from a lot of the makeup of the rest of this team. You're kind of a sandpaper guy. Has that been something you've always been as a hockey player? You like to mix it up in a sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I think ever since I was young, I've always been kind of rough around the edges, some would say. Always kind of like to get down and dirty. So I think coming here and being that presence, it's right in my natural habitat. Absolutely.
Do you think by bringing that kind of mentality to the team, maybe you've loosened up other guys?
I don't think I could get a good gauge of that, but I feel like the practices have been good, heavy, hard, and everybody's competing. So I would say to a certain extent, yes.
Let's talk about this upcoming weekend series. You're taking on the Alexandria Blizzard, a team who I'm trying to think. You would have seen them at the end of December. What do you remember from that series? Obviously, going on the road and taking a couple of tough games for you guys who were coming out of that Christmas break. And what did you learn from that? What do you guys need to do this weekend to get some points?
I think we need to stick together. I think we need to be big, fast, hard, and heavy. I think we'll come out with the 4 points.
You took on the Minnesota Loons this past weekend, a couple of games. We got to see a few different lines. You were bumped around. You got to play with Nick Howell and Cal Levis. Obviously, an interesting night that night. But, what was it like playing with two guys like that? I think they're also a couple of really hard-nosed forwards.
Absolutely. I think they also like it to get down and dirty in the corners, and I think we obviously saw that a little bit faster when I'm used to playing. But I think I held my own, and I love playing with those two guys. Been waiting for it for a while. Yeah,
you guys did a nice job. You got that goal, the game's first goal when Cal got it, and naturally there was a brouhaha afterwards. How is that? Take me through that, because I think fans wonder about that sometimes. Is you're in a situation like that, there's a little bit of excitement, and then it cools down, and you got to play again. How do you kind of cool off after things can heat up like that?
I kind of have this little routine. I kind of splash water on my face, splash water down the back of my neck, and I think I just kind of let it go. Just move on. It happened in the past. I can't dwell on it.
We were talking before the start of this Toro Talk. You're from North Carolina, and if we're remembering right, you're the only East Coast guy on this team.
Yes, sir.
How'd you get into hockey being from North Carolina? Because you were saying a moment ago, you don't think of hockey when you think of North Carolina.
No, so my dad grew up playing hockey. He's from Utah, and he moved to Rochester, Minnesota to play hockey. And then he joined the Army, and we moved to North Carolina. And in North Carolina, the base we're stationed at is the only base with a hockey rink on it.
Really?
So he got me skating when I was about 3 years old, and I got hooked ever since. My brother and sister grew up playing it, so just loved the sport.
Is your team the Carolina Hurricanes then, I assume?
No, New York Islanders.
How come them?
So Thomas Grace used to play for the Islanders. He came down and ran a camp for military kids. So I used to hang out with him, shoot a lot of guns, that kind of stuff. So became pretty good friends with him. And even when we went to the Detroit Red Wings, I got to meet all the guys on that team as well, just like the Islanders. But I kind of stuck with the Islanders.
Well, that's really cool. I mean, it's a unique way of learning the sport as well. A really cool way. Well, Drake, thanks for joining us this week on Toro Talk, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
That was Drake Adams joining us, and this has been Toro Talk.